Hello everyone, Pallytime here with TGN.TV. This is the continuation of my series where I drop all of the knowledge bombs that you need to know about the Elder Scrolls Online. In today's video, we are going to be covering the classes as well as the character advancement in the Elder Scrolls Online, so sit back and enjoy the ride. Classes in the Elder Scrolls Online is going to work very differently from the class systems in most other MMOs. One of the main key features seems to be that there is a great degree of customization. What do I mean by that? Well, let's start from the beginning. In last week's video, we covered the various alliances and the races in the game. You can click the annotation at the top of the video to be taken back to that video. But moving on from there, I can report that every race will have access to the same 6 classes. So you won't have to settle for a different race just because they don't have the class you want to play, which right out of the gate is something that the biggest names in the MMO industry aren't really doing yet. Not all of the classes have been announced yet, and not a lot of information has been dropped about the ones we know about, but I'll do my best to give you a general idea. First off, we have the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight is an offensive warrior with many controlling abilities. Dragon Knights emphasize direct assaults wielding fire-based spells, preferring to engage and dispatch of their foes in melee range. The Templar is a defensive fighter calling upon the power of the sun to damage his foes and also heal his allies. Templars are far less offensive than Dragon Knights, but have additional tools that are useful for survival for both themselves and their allies. Sorcerers are offensive magicka wielders channeling elemental attacks to destroy their foes. Wardens are defensive spellcasters, specializing in healing their allies. There's also been some talk about a Nightblade character, which I personally believe is going to be a mixture between magic and stealth, and then the only thing missing from this group in my eyes is like a pure stealth class, something along the lines of a rogue mixed in with an archer. Now that you know about the classes, please forget everything you know about the classes. Classes are a starting point in the Elder Scrolls Online. They are a means to the end. They do not define your character. I like to think about them a lot like the characters in Dark Souls, but that just may be a sign that I play too much Dark Souls. Basically, yes, you may start as a sorcerer, but there's nothing in the world stopping you from throwing on some heavy armor with a huge melee weapon and running straight into battle. They want you to be able to define your own playstyle no matter what class you pick. Perks are going to exist in the Elder Scrolls Online, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who's played any other Elder Scrolls games. These perks will, quote, provide substantial benefit and be pivotal in character development and growth, end quote. Basically, think of them as talents from any other MMO. As you level up in the Elder Scrolls Online, you can place points into 3 major attributes: your health, stamina, and magicka. The placement of these points is going to unlock additional passive perks, which allows you to further customize your character's role. As I briefly mentioned earlier, every player in the Elder Scrolls Online can wear whatever armor they please, but they all have their advantages and their drawbacks. Heavy armor, for instance, will increase your defenses substantially, but also be more stamina intensive to move around in, while the light armor robes will provide more magicka and magicka regen, allowing the player to use more spells effectively, but making them more susceptible to damage. I personally think that mixing and matching your armor is going to be very important in this game, but I also kind of love the idea of wearing some plate mail with some robes thrown in. On top of that, any class can use any weapon that they please. Each weapon is going to have different uses in a combat situation. For instance, there are of course shields and swords for those who want to run in and get in that close quarters combat, but there's also staves that have restorative properties for those who are more healing minded. Each weapon that you use is going to level up in combat, gaining further skill and further proficiency with that armament. All weapons will require practice to master, but mastering a weapon can unlock additional alternative melee attacks that can be slotted for use in combat. On top of this, you have to keep in mind that you're going to be able to mix and match spells as you see fit. Think along the lines of the Diablo 3 system. I know it's scary to mention Diablo 3, okay? But the idea is that you prepare your abilities for the challenges that lie ahead of you. I believe you will be limited to 6 at a time. 5 of these will be normal abilities, and the 6th ability will be your ultimate. So let's say you're on a huge battlefield, you're in a large-scale PvP combat situation, and you're playing as a sorcerer. The idea is that all of these choices that you've been making while progressing your character should accumulate to your character being different from the sorcerer standing next to you. They want you to be able to make your class your own, they want your class to be played however you feel it should be played, and to me it sounds very exciting. So again, the idea is that once you reach level 50 in this game, you are going to have a perfectly sculpted playstyle that fits how you want to play the game. Your class is going to be how you want it, but also it's going to be flexible. You're going to be able to adjust accordingly to the challenges that you face ahead. Their main goal with this system was to try to eliminate those cookie cutter builds. And coming from a person who has min-maxed in MMOs since I can remember, who has gone for the utmost efficiency in MMOs since I can remember, I think that is going to be quite the challenge. But alright guys, there you go. That is my video for today. Not as much information as I maybe would have liked to add in here, but this is all I could find about the classes and character advancement. In future videos, we're going to be talking about combat, and we're also going to be talking about dungeons and questing, and then later we're going to be talking about PvP. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. So if you guys enjoyed this series, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button below. Leave me a comment down below as well. If you have some insights, if you have some questions, if you want me to talk about new stuff in the future, let me know down there. And if you are new to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe. That is it for me today, guys. Thank you all for watching. Okay, bye.